We're up to 48 women's collegiate teams now. 48, that's crazy. When I wrestled, there was 2.
You would have asked me 10 months ago what would be the first sport we would add. I doubt that women's wrestling would have been the answer.
If wrestling instills all of these amazing values in boys and men, then it is doing all of that and more for girls and women.
Hey there, my Love MMA fans, and welcome to our Cage and Screen Report, where we interview the people that star in the films, TVs, and documentaries, and the behind-the-scenes creative geniuses who produce, direct, and also work on the documentaries. Tonight, I got a really special guest for you. MarQ, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
How are you tonight, Mark?
I am busy as I'm kind of really getting kind of nervous coming up with the premiere coming up over at Artemis for Girls Grappling and Grit. I'm just so excited about being able to show this to a wide audience.
You know, we got to talk about this. Now, as many people know, Mark has been covering women's sport for over a decade. In fact, I think he told me before it was 12 years. I'm getting to feel old myself on this one now, Mark. Is it 12 years?
Yeah, it's been 12 years. I mean, this has been a very long journey. I think a very long than a lot of the fans have actually seen women in mixed martial arts, especially. This is before the UFC. This is right before Bellator had a women's division. This was back in the Strikeforce days is when I was covering it.
Amazing. Way before I was in it, so I can't compete with you, although I do love women's MMA. So, Mark, you're expanding. You have this Girls Grappling and Grit documentary. Let's talk about this, because why did you do this particular type of documentary, which is, of course, on women's wrestling?
Well, you know, Wombat Sports is dedicated to every certain type of women's combat sports, hence the name Wombat. You know, I've covered the women's divisions of mixed martial arts for a very long time. And when you do that, you kind of realize that there are a lot of people that are willing to cross over, boxing, kickboxing as well. You know, and I wanted to cover a bunch of different subjects in terms of that, just so we could, see some of the future stars of what's going on in the sport. We're seeing a lot of boxers make the crossover. We're seeing a lot of wrestlers make the crossover. But also the fact is just to bolster those divisions, because boxing for a while wasn't having that bright popularity as the mixed martial arts is, and they're starting to catch up. But same thing is going on with wrestling, and it was a kind of an interesting story. A university near me, a college near me, had decided to start a women's wrestling program, and I thought this would be really great to do as a documentary on itself. With me doing that, I ended up traveling with them, and I ended up going to a couple events, and I ended up expanding the documentary to include basically what has become the growth of women's wrestling right now in high schools and colleges, and beyond that, even in the little preschool kind of situations, you know, the tweens that are wanting to get into that sport too. So it was interesting just to kind of expand on that idea, and just the fact that a lot of these girls are getting into wrestling because they want to become mixed martial artists. So it was kind of almost a natural thing for me to cover. I was a wrestler when I was in high school, so it just felt really, really natural to try to get this topic. And it was just one of those things where timing was absolutely perfect. These past couple of years, we just seen just an explosion in terms of what's been going on with women and girls in wrestling, from high school all the way up to the colleges, where we're seeing a lot more teams being organized.
Are you surprised, being an expert in the field of women's combat and fighting, are you surprised at all that wrestling has seen such a growth? You
know, I think there's a theory, and I have a tendency to agree with it. With the advent of the women's division of martial arts growing so quickly, a lot of these girls want to do a sport that would complement them going into it. A lot of the girls were taking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu before there was these opportunities for them as well. But they kind of realized, just looking at the men's divisions, that wrestlers are actually doing very, very well in this sport. And they were just like, we want to do that too. And, some of those girls are coming in from the mixed martial arts realm. Some of these girls are coming in from the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu realm, knowing that it'll help out with their game if they become fighters. Some of these girls just want that opportunity to have a one-on-one sport. There's very few sports that are one-on-one that are, I would say, as aggressive, but as kind of, I would say challenging. A lot of the girls' sports, one-on-one sports, are like tennis. Which requires a lot of running, but doesn't really require a lot of contact. So some of these girls really just have a lot of aggression they want to come across, and wrestling just seems like a great outlet.
How long did it take you to film the documentary?
It took me approximately 1 year to get the thing done. Basically, I followed the team for their season, and then when I decided to expand it, I went out and started interviewing a bunch of different other people as well. Sally Roberts from Wrestle Like a Girl was very is a huge part of the documentary. She's a really great gal to be able to talk to. Also, Jess Philippus, who is a former mixed martial artist. She currently has a girls team that, these girls that are getting ready to go up to high school. She's really trying to get them interested as well. So it was important for me to kind of get everything kind of most of the point of view I could get off of the filmmaking, which has been interesting to say the least. But yeah, it took me about a year because I ended up the last shoot I think I had was going back up to University of Providence 1 year later to ask them, how the system, how the team had fared, and kind of get some wrap up in terms of their story. So it was 1 year that we did the whole documentary.
All right, Mark, you're exhibiting for the second time. Congratulations at the Artemis Women in Film Festival, where they promote strong women's roles and really basically women. Their motto is on the website, women who kick ass. So talk to me a little bit about that. You must be super excited.
This is the second time, which I'm really excited about. It was a little bit challenging. I know that Melanie has high standards in terms of this as well, but she's also very encouraging for me, especially considering me as a filmmaker. She always likes me to submit stuff to the festival, and really, I mean, just to say the least, that I had to re-edit everything to be able to bring it to the festival. But it was a blessing in disguise because I was able to look at the cut again, and I was able to make some tweaks on it, and really, make it a really solid film and make it a little bit better, a little bit more streamlined and all that as well, and to be able to really kind of incorporate a little bit more B-roll into it as well. But I'm excited about it. I'm hoping I get a really good turnout for our showing. It's really interesting to say the least, just to have this kind of premiere at Artemis, just because they are so much into the fact that these are about women and having women in strong roles. And this documentary talks a lot about how wrestling has gotten these women into that mindset to be strong women, to be able to be stronger, and I believe Sally had said own their space is what she said in the documentary, and so it was important for. I think it was a really good fit. Like I said, I've known Artemis for quite a while since my first year on Roy. That made the Artemis a couple years ago. I'm absolutely proud to be able to be a part of this, and I'm excited, like I said, to get an audience in front of it and to see what they think about it.
All right, I want to encourage my fans, if they are in the Los Angeles area, to really check out the Artemis Women in Arts Film Festival. It's a terrific film festival, and they've got several events going on in LA starting Thursday, April 25th to April 29th. If you're in the Los Angeles area, there's a lot of workshops, there's a lot of premieres. Shout out to my girl Melanie and the team Artemis. I think we're on year number 5, I'm hearing. Good for you guys. I really applaud you. Mark, before we go today, is there anything else you want to add, sir?
It's going to be interesting coming up this next year. I mean, I've been working very closely with Wrestle Like a Girl. We are working on the hashtag Wrestle the Gap. They're really kind of pushing for NCAA inclusion. Really, to tell you the truth, this, and it's going to be interesting to see where this kind of goes. I mean, I would love it to expand to more of a docu-series. There's a lot of topics I did not get to when we went through it as well. I'm hoping taking it to a couple more festivals. I'd love to get it up to the Bay Area where there's a lot of support for this movie, but I haven't gotten up there yet. So hopefully we'll get that up there really, really quick as well. Like I said, my last project from Artemis and Young Roy is currently on Vimeo. You guys can check that out there as well. It just got up on there as well. It's a fascinating story of Sylvie Vandoulis Itui, a female mixed Muay Thai fighter. She's from the U.S. She's from Denver area, but she decided to move to Thailand, and she ended up completing 100 Muay Thai fights in about a span of about 2 years. So she's had the most fights of any Western fighter, male or female.
All right, Mark, thank you so much for your time, and good luck with the premiere.
Okay, thank you.